Thank you so much, Kainoa. We will now have Camilla Wolf come up here, and she will now share with us about plant-based diet and how that benefits our bodies, our environment, and will help us to achieve world peace. Please welcome Camilla Wolf. Thank you.
Aloha and namaste. My name is Carmela Wolf. I'm the wellness manager at Down to Earth, who is one of the sponsors here today. But on a personal note, most of my life I've been in great admiration and inspiration of Gandhiji, and so I feel quite humbled and honored to be here and asked by Raj to be here today, so thank you so much. I would like to share a few thoughts in the appreciation of this great soul, Mahatma Gandhi, whose 150th birthday we are celebrating today, and whom I have personally admired, really, since I was so young. My heart is so full of joy. Down to Earth was founded over 40 years ago on some of the very principles that are synonymous with Gandhi's name. One of Down to Earth's core values from the beginning has to always be an all-vegetarian company, stating, "We believe that the single most important thing an individual can do for their health, for the environment, and for the sake of innocent animals is to adopt a vegetarian or plant-based diet." Now, in case anybody still has any doubts about the health benefits of a plant-based diet, I urge you to visit the websites of the American Heart Association, American Diabetic Association. Needless to say, if you visit any of these websites, including the American Cancer Society, just to name a few, you will find that all recommend a plant-based diet as part of a healthy lifestyle to prevent numerous diseases and promote well-being. But that's not all. It's also a huge part of treating several diseases. As Dr. Dean Ornish proved back in the early 90s, that you could actually reverse heart disease with diet and lifestyle changes rather than invasive and expensive surgery and medications. And that's something also that Dr. Terry Shintani, who's here today, has shown too. I see you waving. Hello, Dr. Shintani. Thank you for all the work that you've been doing. So there's just numerous information and numerous success on the health benefits of a plant-based diet. And that's why you have the Dean Ornish program all over the nation, including here in Hawaii, the Akahi Ornish program. So I urge you to go to these websites and see for yourself the first-hand information and second-hand information and research out there about the health benefits of a plant-based diet. A plant-based diet is, of course, a non-violent diet. It's also called a sattvic or yogic diet, which was essential to part of Gandhi's lifestyle. It is non-violent for the animals because no animals are killed or harmed. And it is also far less violent to the environment because it is more sustainable. For example, the Brazilian Amazon forest is primarily being burnt down to make pasture land for cattle to graze. Cattle for slaughter, that is. Research demonstrates that eating a vegetarian plant-based diet is the best way to reduce our consumption, fight climate change, and improve the health of our land and water. There are numerous statistics that prove how a plant-based diet is more environmentally friendly and sustainable. But I also want to point out how its needs are far much less on our resources to feed the world. In the US alone, 56 million acres of land are used to grow feed for animals, while only 4 million acres are producing plants for humans to eat. 56 million versus 4 million. To produce 1 pound of meat on average, it takes 13 pounds of grain and 1,800 gallons of water. Now, can you imagine how many more people we could feed and provide fresh water to if we gradually switched over to a primarily plant-based diet? Worldwide? Historically, most wars have been fought over resources, so it's easy to see how important the adoption of a plant-based diet is in the pursuit of peace in this troubled world. But many of us know that large-scale peace is profoundly correlated to our individual inner peace and spiritual maturity. Yogis and sages throughout the centuries were very aware of the effects of our diet and in our inner being, and they were naturally interested in anything that would calm the monkey mind and produce deep meditative and insightful states. We are, after all, what we eat. And a plant-based diet transfers quieter and more peaceful energies into our biosystems and minds than meat does, especially the meat from animals that have been agonized and suffered, which tragically has become the norm in the industrial meat production. The diet that is most conducive to the attainment of inner peace and spiritual self-realization is known as a sattvic diet, a diet based in Ayurvedic and yogic literature. It is simple, all natural, and plant-based. So since we are what we eat, I say, let us eat peace so we can be the change we want to see in the world. Jai Gandhi ji, we love you. Thank you so much and namaste.
Now we'll be having an Indian folk dance by Aja Nachule Dance Group. They will be on the stage. Thank you.
बंदा तो रेडी है, तेरा ही कैदी है, समझो तुम भी जो बात आंखों से कैदी है। बंदा तो रेडी है, तेरा ही कैदी है, समझो तुम भी जो बात आंखों से कैदी है। तेरी हारे दे मेरी जान ले ले, मेरी जान ना दे मुझे बहाने, सजन बड़े संटी सजन बड़े संटी सजन बड़े संटी सजन बड़े संटी।
हाल करेजी चाल करेजी आज पिया जी उड़े विदेशी सेंट लगा के, हाँ सेंट लगा के, हो भात जलेबी जात जलेबी मीठा मीठा बोले बेबी मिंट चला के, हाँ मिंट चला के।
शक्ल बपीसी नजर बचा के बाज बुलावे सुन ले थोड़ी आजा भरी हुई है चलेगी अब तो आजा बेबी भुला के सुस्ती आजा। तेरी हारे दे मेरी जान ले ले, मेरी जान ना दे मुझे बहाने, सजन बड़े संटी सजन बड़े संटी सजन बड़े संटी हो सजन बड़े संटी।
We will be having a speech by Honorable Congressman Ed Case.
But I'm going to go home before I do that, not try to. I was really afraid they were going to ask me for a little group participation. I'm so grateful to have just a few minutes with each and all of you here today. I'm home for a couple of weeks from Congress, and I can't imagine a better place to spend my time than with you honoring one of the most incredible human beings in history. I want to thank Raj Kumar and all of you for coming here in the Gandhi International Institute for Peace, for putting on this remembrance every year, and for keeping Gandhiji's memory alive. Of course, today we celebrate amazingly the 150th birthday of Mohandas Gandhi in Gujarat. And I reflect today on why are we so many thousands of miles away, in another time, in another place, doing this? why do we remember him today? Among the billions and billions of people that have lived and are living in the world since his birth, why him? Why now? And I think it's worthwhile reflecting on that, because every once in a great while, every hundreds of years, every thousands of years, a human being is born whose destiny is to transform the lives of billions of people across the entire world in a different time and place, such as we now have here, right here in Hawaii. Of course, you all know that his life gave birth to his life's work. I visited South Africa, as perhaps many of you have, about 10 years ago, walked in the areas where he walked, tried to understand the work that he did there, got a glimpse of what he faced in that formative time in his life in South Africa, and understood, I believe, what he took from that experience and why he wanted to return home to India, to transform India. And what were the roots of his philosophy? What were the roots of his commitment? What were the roots of his legacy? And of course, the rest is, as we say, history. But I think it's important to look back on that and ask ourselves, well, what really was his teaching? Of course, he had everything to do with the birth of modern-day India, a friend of Hawaii, a friend of our country, a growing friend of our country and participant in our world, and that was due to what he did. But I think we all know that his legacy transcends his home country and transcends his prominence in the birth of modern India. I think we all understand that his lesson was peace, ultimately. That's why we remember him today. It was nonviolence. It was a better way of approaching the world. And I think that the reason we remember him today was that, like other people like him, those few people like him, they spoke to broader values, universal values, values of what it means to be a human, aspirational values of how we can solve our problems and look forward to our world rather than sow division and wage war. And I think it had a lot to do with the moral compass that he always followed in hewing to the commitment that he had to those values. And you know, I think to myself, Gandhiji would not be unfamiliar to us here in Hawaii today. After all, if you consider the values of our host culture that we have all embraced, the values of pono, malama, lokahi, kinaole, these values were exactly what he taught all those years ago, all those thousands of miles away. He would have felt at home here. He would have understood the messages that they bring, and he would have embraced them. And I think the other thing that I take from his life is that I believe that sometimes when people listen to his message of peace and nonviolence, they think only about the absence of violence. So in other words, the yin and yang between peace and war, between violence and nonviolence. And of course that's part of it, but it's much broader than just peace meaning we're not fighting with each other. It's peace meaning we embrace each other. It's peace meaning that we take care of our world. I think he would have understood the challenges of our environment today. He would have understood that his message embraced the solutions that we have to pursue as humans, as citizens of our world. And so when I think back on his life and try to understand why we're talking about him here today, for me at least, it was not only about an incredible life well lived that transformed his own time, his own country, but articulated universal values that truly transformed a world and continue to transform a world. So I think it's very, very appropriate that we remember him every year. I think we should remember him and his lessons every year. We need his lessons in this world. And I'm grateful that today our world had the birth of Mohandas Gandhi 150 years ago. Anyway, I'm again grateful for the time that I have with you here today. I'm grateful that we are citizens of this world, and I'm grateful for the opportunities that we have to follow his lessons into the generations to come. Thank you very much.
Now we'll have messages of world peace with various interfaith leaders. I'd like to start off with Reverend Stephen Toyoshima, Buddhism.
I'm here to speak to you today on behalf of all Buddhism. You know, it's a big responsibility, but thank you so much. I would like to open the service with the reciting of the three treasures. This is a ancient chant in Pali, ancient Indian invocation, taking refuge in what we call the three treasures: the Buddha, the teachings, and the community. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Buddham saranam gacchami, Dhammam saranam gacchami, Sangham saranam gacchami. Thank you. When we look back at the 150 years since Mahatma Gandhi was born, the world has undergone a tremendous amount of change. World wars, Cold Wars, all kinds of changes in technology and society. It's a reminder that we're living in a world of constant change, constant fluctuation. And that, you know, a lot of times it's very difficult for us to accept this change. And when we can't accept the change around us, you know, that's what leads to conflict. It's what leads to ignorance, anger, and, you know, all sorts of bad things. It takes us far away from the path of peace. But when we can recognize that not only is everything changing, but that our lives are linked with each and every other person in this world, what we call the causes and conditions. Everything in our lives, we're affected by the people around us, people that we may never ever have a chance to meet. People like Mahatma Gandhi, you know, through what he taught and what he put his politics of peace into action, is we're able to be here today to listen to, you know, the speakers and to think about peace in our everyday life. One of the most important things for us is to cultivate an inner peace of self-reflection, of being able to look at our weak spots, our limitations, and to bow our heads to what we call namu, to everybody around us. You know, everyone is a teacher in our lives. And if we can be humble, if we can listen to the messages that the people in our lives and from countless years in the past are trying to tell us, then we can truly think about peace and to walk that road together with all the people around us. I'd like to close with a quote from our Buddhist scripture. Our life is filled with warmth in sharing life with others. It is a simple truth to learn, but a difficult practice to fully realize. In personal life, it means to act by placing ourselves in the position of another. And in community life, it means to give service with joy and gratitude for the betterment of all. The practice of making others happy is based upon the clear understanding of life, which is oneness. In deep gratitude, let us realize this oneness of all life, the heart of which is compassion. Thank you very much, and you all have a wonderful Mahatma Gandhi Day.
Now I'd like to introduce Kaluhaheo Bonson, who will be spreading a message of Queen Liliuokalani and how that correlates to Gandhi's message of nonviolence.
Talk about Queen Liliuokalani as part of Hawaiian spirituality. It's not just any Hawaiian spirituality, but in the tradition of Queen Liliuokalani. Because she is the one that started nonviolence. That is her tradition. She has brought nonviolence and shared nonviolence with the world even before Gandhi. So she is connected to Gandhi from the start of what nonviolence. So aloha, ahimsa, those are two words that connect from various parts of the world. But that is the spirit of what Hawaii has to offer on these grounds. But it is connected to Gandhi. Queen Liliuokalani was an interfaith individual, way before the word was even thought of. She worked with the Buddhists, she worked with all the different faith traditions here in Hawaii. She was very open to all those things. But I'm here to talk about really the essence of what nonviolence, the essence of what Gandhi talked about and what Liliuokalani stood for. And that is, at the heart of all this, is really caring and love for one another. So all of us are here, we celebrate, and then we will go into our regular life. But I want all of us to really think about that we hold the spirit of Gandhi, the spirit of Liliuokalani in our being. And that being is about love, it's ahimsa, and aloha. And at the core is that love. And it's not just something that we just hold, but it is in doing. It is in our action. Gandhi's actions, Queen Liliuokalani's actions of having courage, having the faith, and having the willingness to help one another. So let us go forth as we leave, brothers and sisters, connected in ahimsa and aloha for one another. Mahalo. Thank you.
Have Roger Epstein do a Jewish prayer.
Yeah, nice to be here to represent the ancient Jewish faith. I'm just going to chant a few very classical Jewish prayers that really are relevant, I think, for today. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Oseh Shalom Bimramahu, Yaseh Shalom Aleinu. V'al Kol Yisrael, Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu. V'al Kol Yisrael. And in my loose modern translation, I would say that means, may the day come soon when we all recognize our connection to each other through the universal energy that the Jewish tradition calls God. And may we recognize and practice on a regular basis that when we bring peace to ourselves, we can bring peace to the rest of the world. Amen. Aloha. Thank you.
A speaker on Judaism, Harindra Punalal.
My topic for today is how Mahatma was most influenced by Jainism, a religion which is more than 5,000 years old. How many of you have heard about Jainism? The word Jain is derived from the word Jina, which means conqueror. A conqueror who has complete control over his five senses, and one who has conquered his inner enemies such as greed, anger, jealousy, hatred, etc. Traditional Jain greeting is Jai Jinendra, which means victory to the Jinendra. Please repeat after me. Jai Jinendra. Jainism fundamental prayer is called Namakar Mantra, which mentions bowing down to great souls. There is no mention of any God, and this prayer does not ask for any material things. Namo Aryantanam, Namo Siddhanam, Namo Airanam, Namo Uvajjanam, Namo Loe Sabbasahunam, Eso Pancha Namukkaro, Sabbapava Panasano, Mangalanancha Savvesing, Padamam Havai Mangalam. Arihants are those souls who have shed off all their karmas. Ari means enemies and Hunt means destroyer. The enemies refer to our own inner enemies such as anger, pride, hatred, jealousy, etc. Siddhas are those souls who have achieved the final liberation and who have attained the bodiless state of pure bliss. Aryas are the acharyas or teachers, spiritual leaders who lead us to the path of salvation. Upadhyayas are sadhus and monks who have acquired special knowledge of the agams and the sutras and the holy scriptures. Sadhus and sadhvis are monks and nuns who have renounced worldly life and are on the path of salvation. We bow down to all these 5 types of great souls. With this bowing down, we hope to destroy our sins. Among all that is auspicious, Namakar Mantra is foremost. Please note that in this mantra, there is no mention of any god or that of any of the 24 prophets called Tirthankaras. It also does not mention that Jains want anything from anyone or from any superior being by reciting this prayer. Jainism symbol is the palm, which means that before we commit any violence, stop and think, if it is necessary. This symbol also shows various levels of heavens and hells. 24 spokes in the wheel represent 24 prophets. Mahatma's preaching of non-violence is the fundamental basic tenet of Jainism. Jainism annual prayer is called Samvatsari Pratikaman, which repeatedly uses the word Michami Dukadam, which means I seek forgiveness from all living creatures whom I have harmed knowingly or unknowingly, either by my actions or by my words or even by my thoughts. Srimad Jat Chandra, although not born a Jain, whom Mahatma Gandhi considered his friend, philosopher and guide, was one of the greatest exponents of Jainism of modern times. In his autobiography, Mahatma writes that he has not met anyone who can compare with Srimad. Among European philosophers, Leo Tolstoy and John Ruskin were the other two. Mahatma was a Jain indeed. He believed in the 5 fundamental tenets of Jainism: ahimsa, non-violence, which is the basic fundamental tenet; satya, truth; asteya, not to steal; brahmacharya, to lead a chaste life; and aparigraha, not to accumulate wealth. I would like to share a few of the amazing feats accomplished by Jain monks. Around March 2014, a Jain monk fasted for 6 months, living only on boiled water. He is the 12th person in recorded history to accomplish this feat. There was a big celebration in his honor when he broke his fast. He walked up to the podium on his own. So much for our daily dose of vitamins and calories. Around November 2014, another Jain monk took 500 questions from the audience and repeated them in the same order. In the end, he apologized to the audience for missing 3, and then he apologized for the time. This tends to show what our body and our mind are capable of doing. In conclusion, I would like to say that Mahatma followed the basic tenets of Jainism. May his soul reside in eternal heaven forever. Mahalo, Dhanyavad, Shukriya, and thank you.
Now we'll have Santosh Krinsky on Hinduism.
Hari Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karvavahai Tejasvinavadhetamastu ma vidvishavahai Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Mahatma Gandhi understood that true peace is based in oneness, oneness of all creation. All of the differences of name and form that we see are pervaded by that oneness. The Upanishad says that the spirit who is here in a man and the spirit who is there in the sun is one spirit, and there is no other. Mahatma Gandhi put his life on the line to appreciate and create that spirit of oneness. He was assassinated by people who did not yet understand the oneness of creation when he tried to bring the unity of the Muslims and the Hindus and the Jains and the Buddhists and the Christians and the Jews and the Zoroastrians in India during the liberation of India from the British Raj. It's unfortunate that even today, many people in the world are not yet prepared to accept this understanding of oneness. But there is hope, because we see much more, a much greater movement towards this understanding taking place in the world despite all of the disharmonies that we tend to focus on in the media. Mahatma Gandhi had a message that he gave to people who have to live in the world. He called them the 7 blunders that create violence and disharmony that all of us, wherever we are, can work on in our own lives, in our relationships, and in our society. This was published in an interview by Arun Gandhi, his grandson, in a book called Voices of Truth, and I'll give you those 7 blunders now. The first one is wealth without work. The second one is pleasure without conscience. Knowledge without character. Commerce without morality. Science without humanity. Worship without sacrifice. And politics without principles. We should reflect on this and see how we can implement the corrections to these 7 blunders that we make in our world, in our relationships, and in ourselves every day. Om. Peace, peace, peace.
I close today with a simple charge for all of us, consonant with the wisdom and example of the man we honor today. A charge we can respond to now and forever. And words that speak to the importance of the act of reflection and our observation today. I again quote the words of Abdul Baha. I charge you all that each one of you concentrate all your thoughts, all the thoughts of your heart on love and unity. When a thought of war comes, oppose it by a stronger thought of peace. A thought of hatred must be destroyed by a more powerful thought of love. Thank you.
Adela Chu is a Panamanian-born dancer, choreographer, keyboard player, and composer. Is best known for having started Carnival in the Mission District in San Francisco in 1979, one of the largest annual community events in that city. Her band, Espiritu Libre, plays Latin jazz here in Hawaii. The 2 songs they'll be performing today are Fragile by Sting and Sing for Peace. Band members are Cheryl Bartlett on vocals, Adela Chu on keyboards, Dave Yamasaki on guitar, Kim Dufet on conga, Rogerio Araj Buju on assorted percussion instruments. Take it away.
The blood will flow till flesh and steel are one, of drying in the colors of the evening sun. Tomorrow's rain will wash the stains away, but something in our minds will always stay. Perhaps this final act was meant to be a lasting argument, that nothing comes from violence and nothing ever could. For all those born beneath an angry star, oh, lest we forget how fragile we are. On and on the rain will fall like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are. Perhaps this final act was meant to be a lasting argument, that nothing comes from violence and nothing ever could. For all those born beneath an angry star, oh, lest we forget how fragile we are. On and on the rain will fall like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are.
Gracias. Thank you. We have another song for you today that Adela Chu wrote. And this song is absolutely about her vision for the world and the peace that we may have.
You know, Marian Anderson was talking about how you have to wage peace. You have to wage peace, because we talk about waging war, and then when you think of peace, people think you just kind of lie down and let people roll over you. But no, if things are going to change, we have to make an effort. We have to wage peace. Still getting my sound together.
If I sing a song, let it be for peace. Let it echo over streets and over seas. And that song will come back to me, shaded in peaceful harmony. Peace is what I see. Peace is what I see. If you sing a song, let it be for peace. Let it echo over mountains, valleys, and trees. And that song will come back to you. And peace is what you'll do. Peace is what we see. Peace is what you need. Peace is what you'll do. Please, for me and you. Let us sing a song, or let it be for peace. Let it echo in the streets and overseas. And that song will come back to us, free of greed and full of trust. Peace is what we seek.
Stop all wars.
Peace is what we need.
Feed the hungry.
Peace is what we'll do.
End discrimination.
Oh, please, for me and you.
How about immigration?
Please, for me and you.
No false education.
Oh, please, me and you. Peace is what we need. Oh, peace is what we need.
Shelter to the homeless.
Peace is what we'll do.
Better education.
Please, for me and you.
Universal health care.
Please, for me Please, oh please, on this beautiful day, may we wish you aloha, free spirits, and between our brothers and sisters, peace.
Mother Teresa famously said, I was once asked why I don't participate in anti-war demonstrations. I said I will never do that, but as soon as you have a pro-peace rally, I'll be there. This explains my talking about peace promotion rather than violence prevention. To promote peace, one must become a peace warrior, which requires study, worship, and acts of kindness. It requires forbearance and forgiveness. It requires discipline. It requires the desire to teach others. It requires faith. Most of all, it requires a love and fear of God. As one raised in Bible country in Northeast Maryland, just outside Baltimore, one of 5 Jews, including my brother and sister in our local school system, I know the importance of promoting peace because I experienced anti-Semitism in my youth. Swastikas were once painted on our synagogue, the only one in the county. I endured teasing, not always good-naturedly, regarding my being Jewish. My parents, however, who are true peace warriors, taught me the importance of reaching out. My mother, an early childhood education teacher, used to visit my classes. My father would write articles in the local paper and served on the Harford County, Maryland Human Relations Committee. They were presidents of our synagogue and involved community leaders. So I learned from them the importance of becoming involved and culture sharing. I ended up going on Christmas caroling, sang Christmas hymns in chorus, and yes, I attended church services because I know we all worship the same. And just a little footnote for those of you who are familiar with the shooting that took place at the Poway Synagogue recently, that's a mile away from where my parents worship. And in spite of that, their interfaith council group, which they are a part of, continues. When my wife Nancy and I visited Hawaii before moving here in 1993, we made it our mission to learn as much as we could to learn about Hawaii's many cultures, especially about the host culture. We learned to share about ourselves and to let others share with us. We wanted to become kama'aina, and we taught this to our daughter Sarah Beth and son Jeremy, both of whom are raised here. Peacemaking, as we know, starts in the home and goes from generation to generation. When I began working for the state, I did presentations on what I labeled at the time as workplace violence. And as I told Raj, I'm not going to use that word anymore. Peace promotion is an active and continuous process, so here are some principles which I share with you. Individual home, school, and workplace rituals and rules are important. Start and end each day with prayers for peace through a connection with higher power. It does indeed start with you. Set the example of one who promotes peace. Share your culture and learn about others' cultures. Our office does ethnic potlucks regularly, and food is a fabulous medium of exchange. Select leaders who model tolerance, promote diversity, and insist on unity. Intervene immediately whenever anyone promotes disharmony against a single student or individual. In Isaiah chapter 58:1, we are told, like a shofar, ram's horn, raise your voice. Praise and reward students and workers who promote peace. Use trained mediators as needed to resolve disputes. Teach respectful conflict resolution. Use positive language always. Promote activities that require everyone to interact with one another. So it's not about the absence of violence, it's about constantly promoting peace. Do small acts of kindness daily, and most of all, as peace warriors, replenish yourself. Take time to recharge your peacemaking batteries. I'm reminded of what all of my kumu have taught me, that we are children of the same Creator, and remind people of this. We do indeed have places of worship that look different from one another, we pray in different tongues, and we sing different tunes. But all this is pleasing before the Eternal. During this most sacred period for my people, I wish you and the world, Lashana Tova Tikatevu V'Techatemu, may you be inscribed and sealed for a good year. Tatia Gadoila!
The truth has declared, I am not hidden in what is high or low, nor in the earth, nor the skies, nor a throne. This is certainty, oh beloved. I am hidden in the heart of the faithful. If you seek me, seek in these hearts.
कुछ नजर आया न फिर जब तू नजर आया मुझे
सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां शान्तिर्भवतु सर्वेषां पूर्णं भवतु सर्वेषां मङ्गलं भवतु सर्वेषां
हरे 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 हरे
हौले हौले से हवा लगती है हौले हौले से दवा लगती है हौले हौले से दुआ लगती है हाय हौले हौले चंदा बढ़ता है हौले हौले घूंघट उठता है हौले हौले से नशा चढ़ता है तू सब्र पकड़ मेरी यार जरा सांस तो ले दिलदार चल फिक्र न गोली मार यार है दिल जिंदड़ी दे चार हौले हौले हो जाएगा प्यार चलिया हौले हौले हो जाएगा प्यार हौले हौले हो जाएगा प्यार चलिया हौले हौले हो जाएगा प्यार
हरे हरे
हौले 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 हौले
हरे हरे
हौले 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 हो जाएगा प्यार चलिया हौले हौले हो जाएगा प्यार इश्के दी गलियां तंग है शर्मो शर्मी में बंद है खुद से खुद की कैसी ये जंग है पल पल ये दिल घबराए पल पल ये दिल शर्माए कुछ कहता है और कुछ कर जाए कैसी ये पहेली मुआ दिल मर जाना इश्क में जल्दी बड़ा जुर्माना तू सब्र तो कर मेरे यार जरा सांस तो ले दिलदार चल फिक्र न गोली मार यार है दिल जिंदड़ी दे चार हौले हौले हो जाएगा प्यार चलिया हौले हौले हो जाएगा प्यार हौले हौले हो जाएगा प्यार चलिया हौले हौले हो जाएगा प्यार हौले 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 हौले